Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from this month's sponsor, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
Also, if you are looking for something new and different for the upcoming Compliance Week celebration in November, check out The Compliance Kids. It's my 3-book children's series on compliance and compliance professionals for children. But they make great gifts and great training tools for your employees. You can check it out on Amazon.com. We've linked to it in the show notes. The Daily Compliance News for October 17, 2024, the RTX Settles edition. And we begin with that story from the Financial Times, which reports that defense contractor RTX has agreed to pay more than $950 million over claims it bribed a Qatari official to facilitate weapon sales to the country and defrauded the Pentagon into overpaying for weapons, including the Patriot missile systems. The company, formerly known as Raytheon, was accused of defrauding the U.S. Defense Department into paying an extra $111 million for the missile systems and the operation of a radar system between 2012 and 2018. RTX entered into a DPA with a monitor. So, more corruption out there, guys. Next up, the first of 2 stories from Reuters that the ex-drug czar of Mexico was sentenced by court to 38 years in jail for accepting bribes on behalf of drug cartels he was supposed to fight. The sentence was delivered by Judge Brian Cogan. Prosecutors had urged a life sentence, and of course, the defendant wanted home confinement. Nevertheless, a substantial sentence. So, more corruption. Our second article from Reuters is that McKinsey is close to an agreement with U.S. prosecutors to pay more than $500 million to resolve long-standing federal investigations into its past work helping opioid makers boost sales that allegedly contributed to the addiction epidemic. A deal which has not been finalized is set to be that range. The time frame remains unclear, but McKinsey will finally be brought to task for their role in facilitating the opioid crisis. And our final story comes to us from Law 360, which reports that the trial judge overseeing the Boeing guilty plea agreement wants more information around the monitor selection and how the monitor would actually do their job. The article says that the judge wants information on how DE&I will figure in to the monitor selection and then how the monitor will try and do their job going forward. So he's asked for additional briefing from both the Department of Justice as well as Boeing. We'll continue to follow this fascinating story. As I mentioned at the start of this podcast, the sponsor for the entire Compliance Podcast Network is Ethico. Well, Ethico has a great new offering this month for you, a toolkit for middle managers. This is something that you, as the compliance professional, can use to move your compliance program forward by giving middle managers the skills necessary to answer a call for speak up or when someone comes in their office and raises a concern. I can't think of a tool that will be more valuable for you in the current era of enforcement. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.